right, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Yep, went over to the dark side. Now that the hype's all over with and nobody really cares about LSs anymore, figured I'd get one for myself. I mean, I don't know much about them. I mean, what is this crap? What is that? Should not be a wire inside the engine. Anyways, this thing's dirty girl, but we're gonna tear her apart, rebuild her, and then we'll see. The plan is to put her in the 38 Chevy gasser. Probably gonna not put her in this Chevelle. We're gonna keep the old school first gen 350 in there. So anyways, we'll get this thing cleaned up and then we'll start pulling her apart. So got it all torn down. I didn't film that because I'm pretty sure everyone and their grandma is probably taking an LS apart at this point. But as you can see, I don't think the oil was ever changed in this thing. I mean, the cylinders don't look terrible. There's really not any. There's one cylinder that has a little bit of a groove and a little scratch in it. But for the most part, they're pretty smooth. This is if you can see the sludge in the bottom of the oil pan. Yeah, that's what happens, boys and girls, if you don't change your oil ever. So anyways, I gotta pull the crank out and look at the bearings. I'm sure they're hammered. Actually the cam looks fine. The lifters, the rollers look good. The rocker tips looked okay. I mean, it was just a little disappointing that it was so sludged up, you know, but I guess that's what you should expect. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. People just use them and throw them away, so makes sense. But we'll get it taken apart, take it to the machine shop, see what the guy says. If he can machine it for me, put some new bearings in it, and we'll throw it back together and slap some boost to it and see if it explodes. So this is what we're going to be putting the LS in. This is my 1938 Chevy gasser, aka Big Booty Judy. Right now she's got just a Gen 1 350. It runs pretty good. Puts out about 400 wheel. Runs like 720 in the 8th at about 100 miles an hour. So should be sweet. We put a twin turbo LS in there, making maybe 700-800 horsepower. Should be able to get down into the 5s hopefully, or at least the low 6s. So anyways, that's the idea. We'll put out some more content when we get this thing taken apart and get the engine pulled and start putting the LS in there. So stay tuned. All right, well, that was an adventure, getting the old harmonic balancer, and actually the bolt was worse, but this little guy made it easier. Just had to heat it up till it was almost showing that it was starting to glow, and then came right off, no problem. So got the old bolt out with the awesome thread lock on the washer part instead of on the threads, which whatever, I'm not a engineer. And then this guy got it off with the old rental tool from AutoZone. So if you have to rent one of these, use this long rod right here, this guy, and an impact wrench, come right off. So I'm sorry, impact gun. So there you have it, folks. Now we're going to start pulling this thing apart, clean it up so it doesn't look like a mistreated mule. everything taken apart, got all the caps off, the rod bolts out. Crank actually looks pretty good, all the bearings look good, so I'm gonna pop this crank out and then we'll take the cam out, see how that looks. Okay everybody, I'm just getting back on the video for the LS teardown that we were doing for Big Booty Judy. It's my first LS engine. I mean, obviously you see them everywhere, but I've never messed with one, to be honest with you. I'm an old school first gen small block Chevy guy, but you know, you can't deny that the newer technology is pretty awesome. So figured we'd give this one a shot and you know, see what I can do with it. So we tore the thing down. As I said before, it's just sludgy. The oil hasn't been changed hardly at all. So I mean, took all the caps off, looked at all the bearings and the journals on the crank, and looked at the camshaft and where it rides on the bearings, and there's no problems there. So it had oil pressure the whole time, it just wasn't changed very often. So, you know, I think it'll be fine. The pistons have a little wear on the skirts, but I mean, that's to be expected with, I'm sure it was a high mileage truck engine. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Gonna take it to the machine shop. I'm out here in North Carolina, so ball machine down here in Kinston's gonna take a look, make sure everything's usable, clean it up, probably re-ring it. We're gonna probably have to change the rods because we thought they were Gen 4 rods, but I think they're definitely not Gen 4, they're Gen 3 rods, and we wanted to go Gen 4 so we could safely make, you know, pretty good boost with it. So we'll probably have to get some new rods. I'll just find those off of Facebook Market or something. Other than that, we're just gonna throw a cam in it, freshen everything up, new bearings, new gaskets, and that's about it. I apologize for the blue screen in my glasses. This is technically I'm working right now, but I got the screen protectors on my eyeballs here. So anyhow, we're gonna get that done. Other projects, I got my 66 Chevelle up in the air, changing the transmission out, the 700 that we had rebuilt when we first moved out here 3 years ago from Southern California. I'm out here in North Carolina. We put that thing in, and it was supposed to be rebuilt. It was sitting on the shelf for 3 years. We put it in, and it had park, reverse, and neutral, and no drive. So pulled her back out. It turns out the guy put a bunch of Loctite on some of the stuff inside there, and it clogged up the holes for the fluid to go through in the drum. So that kept it from, you know, having any drive gears. So anyways, we're gonna get that fixed, put that back in the Chevelle, and get that back on the road, and then we'll get back to this LS engine for Big Booty Judy. Try to get that 38 Chevy down into the low 6s, maybe high 5s if we can, but we'll see. That's about it. These YouTube videos are really hard to make. You know, it's really hard when you work a 9-to-5 job, or more than, you know, 9 to 5, but when you work all day, it's hard to find enough time to make content that people actually want to watch. So the LS thing is not super exciting right now, just tearing it down, but you know, once we get to actually building it and putting it in the car, that'll be more exciting. So stay tuned, and yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it.